Of the 10 remaining mayoral candidates, 4 have above 10% voter support, according to a recent poll by our media partner 10 News, including my guest, Nathan Fletcher. Nathan, welcome.
Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Here we are again.
Here we are again. And a lot has changed since you ran for mayor of San Diego back in 2012. You left the Republican Party, you became an independent, and now you're a Democrat. Has your vision for the city changed since then?
No, the approach and the kind of core values you bring are always the same, and that's been someone who focuses on solutions, who figures out what do we need to move our city forward, what is the group of people that we bring there, and how do we make it work. I think San Diegans just want a city that works. They want some safe communities, they want an investment in their neighborhoods and some good jobs.
What would your top 3 policy priorities be if you were elected mayor?
Well, I think they're in the things I just outlined. The first thing we've got to do is get serious about investment in our neighborhoods. You know, people are out there and they're seeing streets that are falling apart. Our roads have actually gotten progressively worse over the last 5 years. We're seeing a lot of communities lack investment in sidewalks and parks and libraries. So I think that in conjunction with public safety, we've really seen our police and fire service be decimated. And then the third one would be those good paying jobs. And we laid out a really detailed jobs plan. You can read it on our website at nathanfletcher.com that really outlines how we do that.
It was that plan 130,000 well-paying jobs to San Diego by 2020. Can you give us some highlights of how you would do that?
Well, we want to start by really focusing and reorienting our economy towards the innovative and creative economies, because that is the future. We are an agrarian society and industrial, now we're an innovative. But it's not enough to just have those jobs. We've got to ensure that those working class, middle class jobs, the jobs I came out of a working class family, are available. So we've outlined how we want to invent the idea, how we want to make the product with the new manufacturing zone in Otay Mesa, and then how we want to sell that product to the rest of the world. And that'll really provide those good paying jobs. You can buy a home, put your kids in college, and retire with dignity.
And one of your other priorities you mentioned with neighborhoods, do you think more money should be spent in the city's urban neighborhoods instead of downtown?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. We've seen a lot of neighborhoods that have really been left behind. And when you live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a street light or a sidewalk, you don't understand how every conversation is about a stadium. Now, I think that's an issue that we can solve and deal with, but I think the first thing and the highest priority of the next mayor has to be to exert the leadership to actually get the investment made in all of our neighborhoods. And when we've done that, then I think there's a lot of other things that we can do.
And speaking of which, the Coastal Commission opposes the Convention Center expansion plan. Do you support the expansion? We'll start there.
Well, I support the expansion, and I would really like to see them, Maureen, I would like to see them get back to work, because I think the Coastal Commission staff has made some fair recommendations. I think we should all care a great deal about the Coastal Act, about the Coastal Commission, and ensuring folks access to the beaches and the bays, and I think that they can resolve these differences, and I'd like to see them do that.
Do you think, I don't know if you've seen or heard the Chargers' plan for a multi-use stadium complex. Is that something you would support, especially with taxpayer dollars?
Well, we're not going to do anything that puts city general fund dollars on the hook, because city general fund dollars are what people pay to make sure that they have safe communities, they have libraries and parks. Now, I do think that there is a way to tackle this in a broader use with a multi-use facility that gets used 350 days a year. I don't think it makes sense to build a massive box and big piece of infrastructure you use 12 times a year for football or maybe monster trucks. You know, I took my kids to monster truck. But I think we should use a facility that gets used a lot, and that's something we can work on after we've shown the investment in neighborhoods.
Well, former Mayor Filner made a homeless issue a top priority. Do you support year-round funding for the downtown homeless shelter? And if so, how would you get that money?
Well, I support it, and I think that there's a lot of ways to get it. I think that collaboratively we can work with the county and with other governments. This is a regional problem, not just a City of San Diego problem. The federal government has a lot of programs for it. But what I'd like to really see is us focus not just on housing, but actually helping a lot of these folks get back on their feet. You know, a lot of the folks that are homeless have been suffered in the recession, and they just need a little bit of help, and then I think they can take care of themselves.
Okay, we're coming back to the big picture here. You work for Qualcomm now.
Right.
As a Republican, you supported downtown interests. You had a conservative voting record back then. Democrats have endorsed candidate David Alvarez. How do you convince voters that you're actually a real Democrat?
Well, I disagree with 3 premises. There's actually 3 things in there I disagree with. First off, I always had problems with the Republican Party. I was always pro-choice. I supported equal rights, commitment to the environment. I was a liberal or progressive Republican my whole time. The second is, in our last campaign, we talked about all neighborhoods, and we talked about that investment. I highlighted the community of Stockton, which didn't have streetlights, and so we've always cared about that. And third, if you look at the Democrats that have actually known me for years that worked with me, They are supporting me. Democrats like Congressman Juan Vargas, Congressman Scott Peters, Assemblymember Lorena Gonzalez, Senator Marty Block, Senator Ben Waso, the Speaker of the Assembly, John Perez, the President Pro Tem, Darrell Steinberg, and so many others, because they know me. And I look forward to working with everyone else. But at the end of the day, Maureen, I think what people want in the next mayor is just someone who's going to get the job done, someone who's going to make our city work. And I don't think folks really care which party they come from, as long as they're willing to move our city forward, and that's what I'll do.
All right, mayoral candidate Nathan Fletcher, thanks
Good to
for
see
joining
you.
us.
Yeah, good to see you again.